Whip! Hey, hey. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Spidey Librarian here now. I used to go by WebZip1277, but I figure that I kind of like Spidey Librarian a little bit better, so I have changed my handle on YouTube. I don't know if I'll be able to change the channel. It's probably still going to be at WebZip1277, at least for a while, but that's okay. I'm Spidey Librarian here. I'm Spidey Librarian over on Instagram, where you can find me. And I've even changed my name to Spidey Librarian in Marvel Strike Force, which, as it turns out, I'm here to talk about tonight. Now, as some of you who follow my channel might be aware, I actually stopped playing Marvel Contest of Champions a couple of weeks ago. And my reasons for doing so were, I think, a long time coming. I had come back to Contest of Champions after not playing for about a year and a half, and then I played for a little over a year again. I actually got fairly caught up. I got, I think, a 3-star of just about every character in the game. I know that's not a huge accomplishment, but for me, I mean, having been gone that long, it was like playing mad catch-up, you know? So I left the game because I was, well, there are a number of factors at play. But one thing that I did do is that I left MCoC, and I eventually, well, not eventually, I went right to Marvel Strike Force, which is a great game, a fun game, just like MCoC is in its own way. But there are a number of factors that are going to explain why I left Contest of Champions, and then consequently why I went over to Marvel Strike Force. And I figured I would just kind of make this video and talk about that a little bit. So for those of you that care to listen to me reason out why I do some of the things I do, here we go. Now, Marvel Contest of Champions, as you guys all know, is it's a fighting game, one-on-one fighter. It's a lot of fun. It's got some RPG elements, and when it came out, I loved it. It was, at that time, it was kind of like the Marvel game. I think only Marvel Puzzle Quest was I think that was the only other big mobile Marvel game out there. And I love Puzzle Quest. I occasionally get addicted to Puzzle Quest as well, but I don't really, I've never really gotten into it the way I did Contest of Champions. So when I had left it when Marvel Future Fight came out, because that was an action RPG, and those are just kind of like, you know, one of my big deals. I love action RPGs. Slap a Marvel IP on it, boom, I was in. So I left Contest of Champions without even looking back. I played Future Fight for, oh god, I've played it until shortly after they put Carnage behind a paywall. And I remember paying for Carnage, and then I shortly left the game after that. And for a while, I think I went back to playing Marvel Puzzle Quest. So I'm kind of always ping-ponging between my Marvel games. But when I came back to Contest of Champions in February of 2017, it was right before 12.0. And everybody knows what an unmitigated disaster that was. There was huge blowback from the fans. There was outrage. To a degree that I had not seen in a game in a long time. But eventually, there was enough pushback from fans, there was enough collective outrage and enough collective protesting in the form of not paying for, you know, not paying for units, not buying any of the packs, and then like a lot of the big alliances and players we're going to like Bill Roseman and other people who, you know, are into the Marvel brand for video games, and basically saying, you know, Kabam is seriously ruining this. And so they got involved. And Kabam, like a chastened child, basically said, okay, we hear you, we're gonna make things better. And you would think after a fiasco like that, you know, because things did even out a little bit after 12.0, a little bit. You would think that they would have learned their lesson and tried to keep in touch with the player base. Well, a year later, that definitely is not the case. And so because of this, Contest of Champions, which I still like as a game, I still love it in concept, it's gone to a place that's as bad or possibly even worse than how things were in 12.0, I feel. And it was causing the game to seriously kind of unbalance my life. And for anyone who, you know, likes the Karate Kid, or is watching Cobra Kai right now, which is an awesome show if you haven't seen it, Mr. Miyagi, you know, one of the big lessons that he imparts to Daniel is, you know, in all things you want balance. In your karate, you want to have balance. And in your life, you want to have balance. Contest of Champions was becoming a big source of unbalancing my life. And I'm going to talk about a couple of those factors right now. The first big one is, and you'll find that all of these, I'm going to basically bring up 3 reasons that I left Contest of Champions, and they're all kind of interrelated. So, reason number 1, it felt like a time sink, and it really started to feel like a chore. When I get into a video game, I really get into it. I will, you know, I will play the heck out of it. And Contest of Champions, like many mobile games, many free-to-play mobile games, is designed to kind of like feed on that tendency that a lot of gamers have. Well, I didn't really mind a lot of the stuff that you had to do, you know, logging in every day to get a prize, and, you know, contributing to alliance quests and alliance wars and stuff like that. I didn't really mind that, but like things like Arena, which, you know, I was happy to do for a while, but like it just got to the point where I had to do it all the time, you know, just to get like that 3-star character or eventually the 4-star basics, and that really became, I felt eventually, a huge kind of just pull. It pulled me away from other things. It pulled me away from hanging out with my friends and my family, or it pulled me away from paying attention to a show that I was watching, or it pulled me away from just doing other things. And so that was a problem. I also found that some of the extra events that Kabam was making were just terrible. And again, this is actually my second complaint about it. The game event quality really took a tumble, especially in the last few months. And so there were things like the finishing blow, which, I mean, that was okay when it was introduced with Thor Ragnarok, but this time they brought it around, and like you would have to defeat someone with a medium blow, and then they had to be a cosmic character, and that was just really annoying, and it really felt like a slap in the face. It was like, well, you know, this wasn't restrictive enough, so now we're going to make it even harder for you to accomplish, which is a real problem when you've got like extra events in there that you almost need to play in order to kind of keep up and get the new content. So, you know, how they do those kinds of things matter. I think the dungeons that they had done shortly before I quit, those were pretty good. They weren't bad at all. You could do them at any time. You grouped up with a friend, and that was just kind of great. But like a lot of the time stuff, like the Hotel Modoc, and like you had to do it in 8 hours, which, you know, is fine if you don't want to sleep for 8 hours, or if you don't have a job where you're working at least 8 hours a day. You know, I mean, I got a life, man, and as much as I like to game, I'm not willing to subordinate my life to a game, you know? And so that was another kind of factor that prompted me to, you know, pull away from Contest of Champions. Finally, and I know I've touched on this already, but the final point related to the other two is that, you know, communication between the developers and the player base sucked. I mean, it just sucked. There are no two ways about it. I noticed it in the lack of communication about a lot of events, a lot of the patches. There were controversies swirling around like Archangel and Magic and Drax, like right as I was leaving, where they had been used a certain way for a long time, and Kabam had at one point said for some of those characters that they were working as intended, and now suddenly they were bugs that they were fixing very quickly. And the problem that I have with that is that a lot of those fixes put players at a disadvantage. And a lot of bugs in the game that also put players at a disadvantage, they were exceedingly slow to fix. And it just, no matter what their intent was, you cannot avoid the appearance that that looked shady. It looked like they were basically trying to force the player base to buy more health potions, to spend money on the game that they otherwise wouldn't have had to. And it just seemed a lot of these changes, or the, you know, the slowness to change, they all seem to disadvantage the players and make it so that they would have to benefit Kabam by spending money. And I'm not a huge spender. I do believe in spending a few bucks on a game if it's doing well and you like it, and you know you can find a good deal or something. Then I say totally go for it. I've never been a completely free-to-play player in any game I've played, but I don't like feeling forced to do that, and that is how it's how it was starting to feel. And I was like, you know, I've been playing this for a year again. I think it's in a bad place right now, and I do feel that the state of the game is not good right now. I'd been thinking about leaving for a while. Some of you guys will remember me talking about it during some of my crystal opening streams. And, you know, I mean, that's not a fun thing to put up with. And so I think after, what was it, crystal opening number 56, that was my final crystal opening. You know, and I said, you know, like crystal opening number 56 and goodbye MCoC for now. And I'm pretty sure some of you guys were wondering, well, why are you opening crystals if you're about to leave the game? Well, the reason that I did that is because, well, you know, otherwise I'm just going to make a video going, see ya, and, you know, I did it for continuity's sake, basically, you know. If you're going to say goodbye, you should do it properly, you know, sort of like when you break up with someone, you should do it to their face. So that was the reason that I left Contest of Champions. Contest of Champions is still a good game, at least in concept, and I think that it has the potential to get better. And I've waited out certain bad patches in the game before, and I just kind of felt like it wasn't worth my time to try to do so right now. It wasn't worth my time to keep kind of slavishly devoting myself to the game. So I just cut ties and we were done. So I'd been hearing about Marvel Strike Force for some time, and especially and you know, I'm sure a lot of you guys follow Seaton and you know who he is, and when he started doing videos of that game, I was like so jealous. I was trying so hard to like change my address to New Zealand and get in on the beta, and I just couldn't do it. So I didn't really get to play the game until launch, but I have been playing it since launch, and I'm really, really enjoying it. So I'm going to talk to you now about a few reasons why I really, really enjoy Marvel Strike Force. Now, the first big reason is that I was able to get in, kind of, I got in at the ground level from launch. And I know a lot of beta players have a big advantage over newbies and everything. And there are some controversies going on about, like, extra gold for new players and stuff like that. At I'm just saying that I was there when the game began at its proper beginning, and I was with Contest of Champions as well. But like, I've really kind of been able to take the experience I've gotten with mobile gamings from Contest of Champions and apply it to Strike Force. And so I've been able to kind of figure out, okay, so Blitz is where you get, new character shards and, auto finishing things. I was doing that in Marvel Future Fight, so I knew how that worked and how you got materials to level up your players or your champions and everything. I'm able to do that, and I don't have to grind away as much for, like, other characters. It took me forever to get a 3-star tech character when I came back to Marvel Contest of Champions. For the most part, there are just a couple of characters that I have, like, no shards for right now. I think it's like Ultimus, Rocket Raccoon, and Nick Fury. Everyone else I've at least got some shards for, and I can say, okay, I'm building my way towards them. So there's that. Like, I don't have to really kind of play catch up, and that's a big deal for me. I can just kind of keep, coming in and playing the game a little bit and not have to worry too much about it. So that's one thing. It's not chewing up my time like Contest of Champions was at the end there. So as a matter of fact, I usually am around right when the dailies reset, and I can play it for about 15-20 minutes, and then I've spent all my energy, and I'm basically done, and I go to sleep, and I wake up in the morning, and my campaign energy has still not all the way refilled, which is great, because that just means I don't have to get in there and play immediately. So I love that. I do play Blitz. I'm getting better at it, but, like, that's going to be the most time-consuming part of the game. And even right now, I mean, I'm not going for all of the milestones. I'm going for, like, getting a few of the character shards, and that usually puts me in the top 11 to 25%, which for me, that's fine. That's fine. I'm gonna get better as I continue to grow with the game, and watching a lot of videos from people like, Valley Flyin and Seaton, and I think Casino and a couple other people, Mobile Gamer. Like, it's really helped me get better and to kind of work on my roster and get the better guys up there. So, but yeah, I got in on the ground. It's less of a demand on my time. And the final reason that I am so into Marvel Strike Force is kind of the reason that I left Contest of Champions for Marvel Future Fight, which is that turn-based, hold on, turn-based RPG combat games have always been my jam. I mean, like, I was there at 10 years old playing the very first Final Fantasy on the Nintendo Entertainment System, where, you have a team and they take turns fighting and it's all automated. I mean, and it's not that I don't like fighting games or action RPGs or anything. I mean, I love them. I really do. But I kind of do like that you just kind of sit back, you plan, you decide the order of things, and then that's really it. I think that's really great. And so I've played Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, so when I heard Marvel basically had Strike Force coming, I was like, it's going to be Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes for Marvel. And it has been. Like, right down to, like, the arena structure and the events and everything. So I'm really kind of jazzed that Marvel is finally in this little piece of the gaming market. So I'm really, really excited about that. I've always been more excited about this kind of game than I have been about a fighting game. And that should tell you how much Contest of Champions really is a good game in concept, because, again, it's like, I'm at I'm not going to say skill level 10, but let's just call it, synergy level 10 with a turn-based RPG, and I'm like at synergy level like 9 for like an action RPG, and I'm like maybe like a 7 or an 8 for like a just straight up fighting game. I mean, I grew up playing Street Fighter, so I love those kinds of games, but I'm not like as good at them. So yeah, I mean, those are a lot of my reasons right there, and I guess it does come down to balance, because ever since I quit Marvel Contest of Champions and started playing Marvel Strike Force, I've noticed that I have just had more time to do a lot of things other than just playing a game. I've been able to hang out with my friends a lot more. And I mean, I was doing that while I was playing Contest of Champions, but I always kind of had it in the back of my mind going, oh God, I'm missing I'm missing the arena for this character that I really want, and I don't have that anymore, and it's great. I love it. I was taking kickboxing for a while. I did not have time to do that while I was playing Contest of Champions. Probably not going to stick with the kickboxing, at least not right now, but I am going to try to, continue to fill up my time with other things to do. I don't know, maybe I'll learn a musical instrument or something. I don't know. And what else have I been doing? I've been reading. I mean, like, I'm a librarian. I should be reading, right? So I've had time to read, listen to audiobooks and stuff like that. I've had time to watch TV. I mean, like, I like to watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I will just kind of glance up at it while I'm playing this stupid game. I don't have to do any of that with Strike Force. I can get in, play for like 5-10 minutes most of the time, and I can get a lot of things done that I just don't have to worry about for the rest of the day, or at least for 6 hours or something. I get in there and I play Blitz, and Blitz, again, most time consuming part. That can take up to like 30 minutes to an hour if you really, want to play a lot and play with your squads a lot. And I mean, that can take up a lot of time. I do it to an extent, but not much. And I'm not going to really, I'm not going to commit a lot of time to this game, and I don't have to, and it's great, so yeah, I that's just one of the things that I love about Strike Force. It was one of the things I liked about Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes while I was playing it, and now that Marvel is doing this style of game, I mean, boom, I'm here, so this is kind of the only game that I really have to worry about sinking a lot of time into, and at least right now it doesn't appear to be the case. So that's awesome. Marvel Strike Force is awesome, and hopefully you guys are not too turned off by the length of this video. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up and just say thank you guys for tuning in. Again, if you like this video, please go ahead and leave a like. If you're feeling particularly ambitious and you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe. It really helps me out. I think I'm hovering at about around 150 subscribers right now. I'd really like to just kind of like blow that up if possible. So if you guys have any suggestions about how I might do that, let me know. I would love to hear it. In the meantime, I will be resuming streams at some point. I know I haven't done any in a couple of weeks because that was my final crystal opening for Contest of Champions. And I'm trying to figure out what I can do with Strike Force that will be interesting and that not everyone else is doing. I mean, I may just do what everyone else is doing because I'm interested in it as well, So I'm not super high level, so hopefully you guys won't mind that. But I'm getting there slowly, a little bit at a time, So But again, thank you guys for watching. I hope that the game is being good to you. I hope that you're enjoying Strike Force or Contest of Champions if you're still playing it. Yeah, follow me on Twitter. I'm still WebZip1277 on Twitter, but also you can find me on Instagram, where I am Spidey Librarian, just like in Strike Force, and just like my name on YouTube. So until the next one, you guys take care. I will see you later, and yeah, thwip thwip. Bye.